I am alive, and it's good to be alive. Hello everyone, and today I am checking out Chroma because he is pretty much a badass that I definitely overlooked. I knew he was very cool, but I never tried a tank build with him, mostly because I never had a blind rage. But I got one, so I want to show you guys what he's got. He's got Elemental Ward and Vex Armor. My Elemental Ward is going to increase my armor by 373%. And my damage multiplier from reflected shots by 7.47%. It lasts about a minute, and it's got a status chance of 62. The Vex armor, though, is the key here with an armor increase of 871%. Damage multiplier of 5.36. And of course a power duration of 59.75 seconds. So each of these abilities lasts about a minute. The reason I'm not even going to bother with the other two abilities is because the top one is pretty much garbage right now, and my ultimate drains an insane amount of energy due to the builds that I have on it. So you guys will notice here that if I cast Vex Armor and allow the enemy to deal some damage to me, you'll notice I now have an indicator at the top of my screen, and now two indicators. One of them is called Scorn, and the other one is called Fury. The Scorn is the 678%, and that is basically my current armor increase I am receiving, and the 191% is the Fury, which is the damage increase that I am receiving. So essentially how Vex Armor work is damage that you take to your shields increases how hard you are to kill, while damage to your health increases your damage. This is a really fun and lately one of my favorite abilities, because while this makes you slightly less tanky than say Rhino or somebody else, because you are technically still taking damage, you have a much larger damage multiplier, which makes you quite a badass, and is really fun because in some levels where weapons wouldn't cut it, I'm able to bring, for example, a status and healing Galatine build, so this Galatine actually heals me. Normally it wouldn't deal the most damage compared to a crit build, but I'm able to get away with that because I have a freaking 5 times damage multiplier, which is sweet. It's also fun as well because when you're fighting infested, you're no longer really afraid of those poison gas clouds or little acid puddles. You almost want them to deal damage to your health. Right now, just to give you an example of how effective this is, I've brought a Bleeding Dragon Key and only have 185 health, so I don't have a whole lot to work with, so I should be pretty easy to kill with only 300 shielding. But I think you guys will find that I'm not having any troubles at all because I've stacked my Elemental Ward with my Vex Armor, which gives me another drastic increase in armor, which basically just makes my health and shielding bar take near to no damage, which is extremely fun. Also, if you are fighting enemies with projectiles such as Grenier or Corpus, this Ice Shield will deflect the bullets back at them. This Ice Shield works incredibly well with bombards. Those missiles will just bounce right off of you and you can keep going. Also, it blows up in their face, which is pretty amusing. Alright everyone, and for my second Chroma build that I will be showing you, it is the Fire Chroma. Where he comes into play is his Elemental Ward increases your health drastically. You'll see mine has shot up to 1200 from, I believe, around 700. And the reason this is nice is because if you have taken damage, this technically makes up the difference and heals you. What I'm saying is, if your health is only at 200, it's going to increase your health by a percentage, and essentially, when the Elemental Ward wears off of you, you're going to keep the health that it gave you. The unfortunate thing is that with my super tanky Chroma build, I have a massively reduced power range, so unless I'm standing right next to teammates, this ward doesn't buff them for very long, and then if I walk away, they lose that bonus health. Granted, yes, it'll heal them, but it can only heal them once per casting. So what you're going to want is an augment mod for Chroma called Everlasting Ward. This basically makes it to where once an ally comes within your ability's radius, they keep the Elemental Ward power on them for the duration of its ability. This is very nice, has pretty much no downsides at all except for the fact that it takes up a mod slot, but it is more than worth it, friends. And interestingly enough, if you bring a healing melee weapon such as the Hirudo, or simply a good status weapon with healing return, though the Hirudo is my primary recommendation, you will find that this fire Chroma can sometimes be just as tanky as the ice one, which is really fun because of the sheer amount of health you have and the fact that you can heal yourself. So, I honestly would give Chroma a 10 out of 10. He's very fun, super useful. He's a good tank. You can even use him as a healer, which is interesting. And for those of you that don't know, what changes his elemental ward's element is your energy color. Whatever color you make his energy decides what his power's damage is going to do. You can do a electricity Chroma, you can do a poison Chroma, you can do ice and fire. I don't really mess around with poison and electricity for the simple fact that I don't find them nearly as useful in fire as fire and ice. I would like to point out that the electric one is cool. It does deflect a large amount of incoming damage you receive as an electric shock to a nearby enemy, but like I said, with my reduced power range, I pretty much have to hug them to release that bolt of energy, and I tested it in the simulacrum, and I noticed that against level 100 or higher enemies, it pretty much doesn't do just about anything. As well, with Poison Chroma, basically all it does is buff your weapon handling speed, so like your reload speed and how fast you switch weapons, which is kind of nice. But let's be honest, it's not nearly as helpful as being almost unkillable and being a total badass, so I honestly don't care much for this Chroma, and I don't put Everlasting Ward on him, so he's also not a huge help to my team. He's kind of a selfish build to play as, if you ask me. At least with this Chroma, I do not have Everlasting Ward with my Ice Chroma either, but what's cool is if we're defending a hallway or doing a really hard survival, I'll just have my teammate that's leveling up their frame kind of stand next to me and shoot people, and they get like a massive 370 whatever % armor buff, which makes them harder to kill. If you want Chroma, he's actually not that difficult, and it's really natural how you get him. You basically just need to progress through your star chart, and what I mean by that is you simply have to unlock relays. So like when you go to Earth, you'll notice there is a junction to go to Mars, and there is a junction to go to Venus. You basically just complete junctions on your way through the story's quest line, and you will unlock parts for him. To build these parts, though, you will need parts of other Warframes with it, which is interesting. I believe you need an Ember part, a Volt part, and a Saren part, if I am correct. Volt is very easy. You get his part in a dojo. I don't know of a dojo that doesn't have any Volt research. That sounds a bit silly. You will need an Ember piece, which is, in my opinion, very easy to get. I'm very good at killing Sarge's Rook. If you guys want help with that and you're on Xbox, let me know. And also, last but not least, the Saren part is probably going to be the hardest because you got to farm Kella de Thame. I've already mentioned her in one video today. She's a nasty glob. So I'm probably going to make a video. I'll do an easy kill video on her. But anyways, you guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope there was something in it you like. If there's anything else you want to know, please drop a comment. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!